Hello there. So I heard through the YouTube grapevine that Marisa needed a little help with her makeup tutorials. So I thought I'd volunteer to teach her a few things since, she stalks people's channels and comment sections. So I've already done my contour and a wee bit too much highlighter on my nose, but we're gonna fix that up in the end. Trust the process, not her process. Trust my process. Let's go straight in with blush because apparently that's something she struggles with terribly. So I'm gonna go with the YSL and we're gonna get a nice fluffy natural haired brush. If you are strictly vegan, synthetic works. These are my preferred brushes. This is the shade we're going to use. Okay, we're going to tap into that. We're not going to go crazy. And we're going to, because if you are over 35-ish, your face is starting to droop. And if you're over 40, it's really starting to droop. So we want to stay high, okay, to lift the face. Now, if you have a long, narrow face like myself, you may want to make it look fuller. If you have a fuller face and you want to make it look more narrow or less round, do not apply here if you don't want to make your face look fuller. Don't go for the old apples on the cheeks thing that used to be, and don't do any of that. Don't. It's not a thing anymore. We don't do that. So, because I want my face a little fuller, but I also want it lifted, I do a little here, right? And I do some on the apples. Don't go too far down because the nasal labial fold here, you start getting blush and things in there, you're gonna look a muddy mess, which is funny since it's Mud Flops Monday, right? Anyway, moving right along. You may want to even dust a little bit of pink a little bit of pink under the eyes. Not crazy, nothing nuts, nothing looking clownish or like, Mimi from Drew Carey or anything like that, right? We want to keep, okay? And I'm gonna teach you, Marisa. All right, we've got our blush. We don't look too clownish, but even at this point, we are going to tone it down. Give me a moment. Okay, this is very important for you. Reese, aka Marisa, is the highlighter, okay? We're gonna use the Glow highlighter in the shade Sunrise Gold, just shade 1. It looks white, it is not. It has sort of a pink hue. And we are going to use a brush, okay? We don't want to go crazy. Don't bring it here, okay? That is not where the natural light hits your face. The point of highlighter is to add to the places where the natural light would hit your face, right? The high points of the cheeks, not this. This is not the high point of the cheeks. The brow bone, above the brow, right here, which also helps to make the eyebrows look more lifted. And again, we want to lift the face, right? You can see this sort of rosy tone, but it's quite pretty. They have several different shades. Okay, and then when you're doing here, or on your Cupid's bow or on your chin, you're gonna wanna, and always wipe your brush off in between different colors, okay? So for here, we're not gonna use the Gucci because we don't want a rose color on our nose. We're gonna use Anastasia Glow Seeker highlighter in shade Sun Idol, okay? And again, I went a little heavy there, and that's okay because I still haven't used powder. Just the tip, very lightly on the bridge, and on the Cupid's bow. I don't personally like to use a lot on my chin because my chin is pointy. Right here, because when we turn our heads, the light hits us, and it does leave brightness right there. Think about where the sun naturally hits your face. That's where you'll highlight. Gently, modestly, not, you don't want to be seen from Mars. You can also highlight your collarbone like this if you're gonna wear, you know, a tank top or something like that. All right, moving right along. Now we're gonna powder so we don't look like this, okay? We are gonna use the Givenchy pressed powder because the loose powder, they reformulated it and made it icky. Anyway, this is for light medium skin tone, and it is in the shade, what is it? 03. This is what it looks like. First of all, it comes with a cute little brush if you don't have one, and it's got 4 shades, which you combine or can use separately with a little eyeshadow brush to brighten and also color correct, should you choose to do that. One moment, you need a brush. Okay, under eyes, you want a fluffy brush, and for any darkness under your eyes, you really want to use a peachy shade and or a pink shade to brighten. Tap it off and just graze under the eyes because we don't want to exaggerate any fine lines or wrinkles, right? Okay, we got that. Now I'm gonna swirl my brush throughout all the colors, and we're gonna tap it in our nasal labial folds because we don't want those. Brighten right here, not under the eyes, but right here, using probably the lightest shade here. Okay, got it? There's that. Now, what we're gonna do, because I don't really care for the brush, I'm gonna use one of these little thingies. I'm gonna go through all the colors and go through here. Okay. Now, we're gonna do the nose. That highlighter is highlighting, huh? That's all right. I don't really care, because when it's all said and done, my makeup looks fire, so. Okay. All right, that's it for powder. Now guess what's next? We did the parts that you seem to have the hardest, the most trouble with. Now we're gonna do something I don't think you can do, and that's a colorful eyeshadow look. And this is gonna be fun, because it's gonna look crazy. It's gonna look crazy until I'm done. So we're gonna use some of these, one of those, and we're also gonna use some of these. So have fun with me while we create a really pretty eye look. But again, I don't think you can do this, Reese. You're just not that talented. We're gonna take a nice, fluffy, natural haired brush, and we are going to start with this right here, which is sort of a periwinkle purple, and I'm not even gonna try to pronounce the names of these shades. Adept Cosmetics, Jesus. It's only one of my favorite eyeshadow brands ever. But anyways, she tends to name a lot of her color stories after sci-fi type stuff. So I can't pronounce them. So you want to make sure you prime your eyelids. Eyeshadow primer would be ideal, but in a pinch, you can use concealer. You just want to make sure that it's not creased. You want to make sure you pat it out like this. We're not worried too much about blending at this point because we're going to put stuff over top of it. But we do want to make it as even as possible. May or may not have noticed that I focused most of the color out here and not a lot in there. That was done intentionally, and you will see why as we progress. All right, we're going to put this one away for now. Legend of Audra. And we're going to use this hot pink. And this is pronounceable. It's called 1000 Years. And we're going to take it very small, very tiny. This is a number 13 brush from Rephr. We're going to tap just the tip, one side, and we are going to tap it through as almost a transition shade, but not exactly. Don't bring it up too high or you will look like Mimi for sure from Drew Carey. Okay, and this we do want to blend and blend well, because if we don't blend it well, we're going to look like a third grader did our makeup. Let me tap in, and I probably should have did that too because I don't want fallout all over my face. We're gonna do the same thing on the edge of the eye. So the camera shut off. So now I have to splice it together. Okay, PETA, I'm right here. Okay, so first we're gonna use this one. Now a lot of these are duo, multi-chromes, etc. No, we're not gonna put shimmery type shades all the way to the edge because that looks weird. But what we are gonna do is go right about there with our fingers. You can use a brush, but I think you'll find that your finger will work best, especially in keeping it from creasing. You don't like really colorful eyeshadow, in which case, you know, that's kind of your problem. All right, next, we're gonna use this pretty shade right here. And we're gonna put that almost dead center, right? We're gonna kind of overlap just a little so there's no weird like line, right? We're gonna put this over quite far, right? We're gonna take this one right here. This is a kind of a dark bluish purple. We're gonna put that on top of the first shade it's similar, but it has a little more glitter to it. And then we're going to take this one and pop it in between those shades right there. Like I said, we don't want any weird lines. We don't want to look like we've got stripes on our eyes, right? All to kind of be cohesive. Now we're going to take our Gucci highlighter again. We're going to take this. This is from Rose and Ben Beauty. We're going to go in our little highlighter. We're going to put it on our inner corner and blend up just a little bit, since it has that sort of rose tinge to it. If you put in a light color on your inner corner, it helps open up and brighten the eyes. If you wanted to, you could take a little bit more highlighter and just sort of blend it in with the rest of the shadows, so again, you don't have any crazy lines like I do right there. Now, the fun part. We're going to tight line first. So we're going to take a black gel eyeliner, and I don't need to lift my eyelid, but for the purposes of demonstration, we're going to do that because a lot of people can't. What you want to do is you want to line right at the edge of your lashes. Why, you might ask? Well, there's a couple of reasons. One, so you don't have that white line that kind of just seems out of place once you get your everything done. But it also, the main reason is because it adds sort of a thickness to your lashes. Makes your lashes look thicker than they might be. As for reference, this is a super cheap eyeliner, but it's the best eyeliner I have ever used for tight lining because it doesn't really transfer. Actually, from the website Ivy Beauty, it's the 24-hour eyeliner from Ruby Kisses. Really cheap. I mean, it's like $1 something, I think. All right, now one of the final steps, not quite done yet, but one of the final steps is the liquid eyeliner. And I do not like doing this on camera. So what I'm gonna do is I will do some of it. All right, we're gonna start about the pupil, okay? Follow your lash line. Do not go up. Stay at your lash. Erica, I can't think of her name like right now, but anyway, she's a makeup artist. She always says press, press, press is best. So keeping that little thing in mind, what you might want to do is press it into your lash line. That way you don't have a hovering liquid liner, right? Because it's not easy to do when you first start doing eyeliner, right? So, all right, once you get that down, what, Nova? And we're gonna do a little wing, although I never really ever do a little wing, and I don't suggest holding your skin back, not pulling, really, I'm just sort of holding, because I don't want it to be all wiggly and wobbly and whatnot. So you want something like that, and then a very, very thin line right here from that middle point, see, to your inner corner. If you would like to elongate your eye, you can do some. And my phone rang, so once again the camera stopped recording. Yay. Anyway, as I was saying, you can elongate your eye by extending the inner corner like this, which is hard to do while talking, and don't bring it all the way, just a little bit in, if you can see that, just a little bit in there. And so if you find that your wings are kind of wonky, you can take one of these, take something like this that's nice and stiff, and some micellar water, and just, you know, make it. There's, oops. So now, mascara. I usually use a couple different mascaras, but for the purpose of this video, we're just gonna use one. And it's an upside down and everything else. But this is the Prada mascara. It's super ultra black, and it has a very unique brush. As you can see, it is only on one side. This is the side that has the brush, this side. So you want to start at the root and sort of shimmy back and forth. Careful not to get it on your freshly done mascara or eyeshadow, right? All right, just a few final steps. We're going to take our meteorites from Guerlain, which look like this. Our brush, our rougher, and dip into the meteorites, and this is like a finishing powder. It's got different colors and a little bit of a highlight, and we just kind of want to brush it all over. And then, two more things. My makeup routine is very extensive. I already have lip liner, and this is the brand new, I don't think it's even released yet, Valentino Puffer Gloss. Yeah, it's sort of like, it's a plumping gloss, but it doesn't burn, and it's super high shine. This says like it's clear, but it's like an iridescent. It's got like really fine, you can't feel them at all, little multicolored sparkles. And yeah, it's nice. So there you go. Last step, take a setting spray, any setting spray. I like Peach and Lily. This is like a 3-fold thing. It's skincare, blah, 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 but it's also a great setting spray, and it leaves a nice glow, and it will keep your makeup lasting, as well as keeping your makeup from transferring, if you put enough on, which I did not, but from transferring on your clothes and everything else. Marissa, and anyone else, but Marissa in particular, I hope that you've learned a thing or two, at least about blush placement and highlighter. If not, girl, I don't know what to tell you. There's no hope, but I never say never. Watch my videos. I'll teach you a thing or two. Bye, everyone. Happy Monday.